So hello everyone, welcome to my first YouTube video. So in this video, I'll be talking about some basic things you need to know before learning data structures and algorithms. And there will be a series continuing in which I'll be teaching data structures and algorithms. So firstly, we'll cover these basic definitions in this video. So let us begin without wasting any time. So firstly, we are going to talk about variables. Although you must have studied about variables in C++, C, or even in mathematics, so still we are going to discuss something about variables. So variables are certain things which store a certain value, and that value vary. As the name suggests, variables, the values vary. For example, let us consider a rectangle. There are two parameters for a rectangle. They are length and breadth. So for L and B stores certain value. For example, in this case, it stores 2 and 4, and the value may vary. It can be 2 and 4, or it can be 6.2 and 9.7. So as the definition suggests, variables are certain things that store values, for example 2 and 4 or 6.2 and 9.7, and their values vary. Like in this case, the value may vary. You can store different values in this, but yet you will get the area of rectangle, right? So the definition of variable is clear, I hope. So we'll take one more example from our daily life about variables. So we have certain weight. So our weight keeps on changing from time to time. From the time we are born till the time we die, there are many records of our weight. So even weight is a variable quantity. And even on different planets, you will have different weights due to different acceleration due to gravity on different planets. So that implies that even the acceleration due to gravity on different planet is different. So even that is a variable quantity. So you see, there's so many example of variables in our day-to-day life. So as we have discussed variables, we'll be talking about data types. Again, we would have studied about it, but let's revise it. So data types are certain quantities or certain things that tells you the type of variable you are using, whether it is a decimal variable, whether it is a character, it is a simple integer, or it is true or false, or any kind of values you store. So basically, there are two types of data types: primitive and user defined. So first, covering the primitive data types, these are already defined in the system. You don't need to define them. So first is integer and long. So these store simple numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. 0, minus 1, minus 2, and so on. So integer and long stores these values, and long has a bit more range than integer. Float and double, these store decimal values as well, like minus 1.2 or 1.2 or 0.0 or 4. And double has a bit more range than float. And boolean stores true or false value. And there are many other primitive data types like character data type, which stores characters like A, B, C, D, capital A or small a, depending on your wish. So user-defined data types are such data types which you define, the user defines. For example, if you would have studied Java, while constructing a class in Java, you define the class like public static public class ABC, and you define everything within a class. You are the one to define a class and what task it will perform, right? And even in C++ and C, such data types example is structures. You must have studied structures as well, which is a collection of many other data types, and you will decide what they'll do and how to arrange the structure. That's upon you. So that is what is user defined data types. So if you don't remember, this is the syntax of structure in C++ and C, and this is a syntax of class in Java. So even if you don't remember, that's not a big issue. Revise it. So now we are going to cover basically data structures in the series, in this upcoming series. So let's define data structures. Now everything fancy like retrieving information, like give me whatever you have. Like I know I have a bad sense of humor yet. And processing information, organizing information, storing data. You can't do these fancy things on variables or data types. It becomes a bit difficult task. So we need something more appropriate that arranges the data in a very appropriate manner, and we can collect data and do many things with it, delete the data, get out information out of it. So that is when data structures come to play. So I will be talking about a very basic example which you would have started in C++, C, Java, or any programming language you have done. So the basic example of data structures is an array. So array is a collection of many similar data types. You can store either a lot of float values in it, a lot of integer values in it. Means that a single data type you can store in it, and you can delete the data if you want. You would have done examples like deleting the data. You can add new elements, you can remove elements, and whatnot. So array is the very basic data structure. And basically data structures are of two types, linear and non-linear, and they're very much similar to the names. Linear means a straight or a straight line kind of a thing. You'll be learning shortly about them, and I'll be explaining you in detail about linear, non-linear data types and their differences. For now, just remember stacks, queues, and arrays are some examples of linear data types, and non-linear data types are like trees, graphs, etc. And these are some example of non-linear data types. For now, this is enough. So next comes abstract data types. So simple data types like integer, float, you can perform many operations on them. Like you can add them. This plus operator, which symbolizes addition. You can subtract them. This operation symbolizes subtraction. You would be known to that fact, obviously. So in the similar way, these data structures come with certain operations you can perform them. You will shortly learn about LIFO, FIFO, and many other things and operations you will perform on them. So don't worry. So for now, just remember operations like adding, deleting, and doing many things. For example, the things you do on array. So these are some operations that you can perform on data structures. And yes, data structures we with their operations are called abstract data types. So we'll also be learning about algorithms in this series. So what is the basic definition of algorithm? Algorithm is the instructions you need to perform to do certain tasks. So now that's the theory. In simple language that I was ever taught was doing anything step by step. So we do everything by step and certain instructions. So let us pick up a very common example. We learn about the algorithm for making a Maggie. So you will take a pan, obviously, a very simple algorithm. You will boil water. I take 1.5 cup for one packet. Then you will add Maggi masala in it. You will break Maggi and add in it if you want to break it. That's your wish. Then wait for 2 minutes and yippee. Serve it in the bowl and your Maggi is ready. So these are very simple steps to make a Maggi, and that means this in the language of computer, this is an algorithm to make a Maggi. So I hope it was very simple. So that is all for today. So if you like my channel, do subscribe it, hit a like, share my video, and do comment below and tell me how was the video. And if any doubts you have, you can email me. I have mentioned my email ID in the description box. And yes, thank you for watching. See you soon again.